Hello and welcome back to the Fit40 Podcast, where we simplify exercise and nutrition for busy parents 40 plus so they can improve their health and feel amazing. I'm your host, Brian Fitzsimmons, and today we're going to be talking about cheat meals, cheat days. Are they good? Are they bad? If so, when should you use them? We're going to cover it all in detail today. But before we do, make sure that you're following or subscribed wherever you are watching or listening so you don't miss another episode, because we are cranking these episodes out every single week so you always have amazing information. So let's get into it. When it comes to cheat meals, cheat days, what is the deal with all this? Now, I'll be honest, I totally got this topic from a post that Jared Hamilton did. If you guys are not following Jared Hamilton, you absolutely should be on all the socials. He's got a great podcast, Dieting from the Inside Out. Check it out after this episode. And he brought up a great topic of cheat meals and cheat days. And I mean, based on his individual perspective, they're pretty dumb. They're pretty potentially bad, but we're going to break it down and give it a little bit of nuance. And that way you can make the best decision for yourself based on you and what exactly you need. So why would you need a cheat day or a cheat meal? Well, a lot of times they serve as a really good way to schedule in a diet break or a refeed, like where if you're doing a very individualized nutrition protocol, sometimes you get refeeds where you increase things like carbohydrates, for example, and that can have a lot of benefits when it comes to certain things like enhancing your training. So if you have a heavy leg day and you want some extra carbohydrates the day before, so your glycogen stores are tapped out, even though you're on a diet, then it can help in that case. But for most people, they just do it because they hear that they have to. So when people implement them, it's usually mostly to enjoy their certain foods that they've been avoiding and just to get a break mentally from the diet itself. Now, let's break those three things down. When it comes to a scheduled diet break or a refeed, it makes total sense because you're planning this in. It's not like you're getting that cheating feeling where you're like, "Oh, I'm being bad." Okay, this is a part of the plan. It's just something that you're doing. It's something that's feeding into your goals. All right. And on a hormonal level, there are some benefits as well, like improving leptin and ghrelin, for example. So when you diet for a very long time, leptin and ghrelin can get affected. Now, what are they? Leptin is the hormone that helps make you feel full. Ghrelin is the one that makes you feel a little bit more hungry. I hope you guys can hear me over the landscaping outside. I apologize if the mic is catching it, but back to leptin and ghrelin. All right. So when you diet for a prolonged period of time, leptin levels go down, ghrelin levels go up, and that can make it harder to diet, which is one of the many ways that your body fights back. Now, when you have a diet break at some point, and if you have a refeed, it'll give your body that feeling of being more full. It'll give you more sustenance. It'll give you more energy. You will feel more fueled overall, and it can help to balance the leptin and ghrelin out, at least for a brief moment in time, just to give you a little relief. And it can potentially, like if you do it correctly, reset it to a point where, okay, now we're starting from a better position rather than both of them being bottomed out or the wrong side of the seesaw, because they usually play off each other where it's like leptin high, ghrelin low, ghrelin high, leptin low. And you want to make sure that it's in your favor. Okay. Another thing that it can do, like I mentioned before, when you do have a refeed or a diet break, is it refills glycogen stores. So if you want to do a heavy lift the next day and you have a high volume day where you're doing a lot of sets and it's big muscle groups like your legs, for example, it can help a lot on the performance side of things. Or let's say somebody's doing a bodybuilding show or a photo shoot, or they want to look really good for a specific day, like a wedding or something, even though you're going to have a suit or a dress on. So this won't really apply, but it can help with your looks. If you're dieted down really far and you've lost a lot of body fat and you introduce more carbohydrates or just more calories in general, all of a sudden it's kind of like SpongeBob where he has those giant arms that he blows up and goes, okay. When you have more glycogen in your body, and on top of that, sodium, so you're holding on to a little bit of water, but in the right ways, it can kind of blow your muscles up a little bit and stretch out the skin and make you look like you have more definition and have bigger muscles. This is why when we talk about good weight, like that weight that comes from glycogen, that comes from those carbohydrates that turn into glycogen, the weight that comes from having a little sodium in your diet and the water that comes with it, that stuff helps fill up your muscles and it helps you perform better. So yeah, it can be awesome when done strategically, when it comes to the diet breaks and the refeeds. If you do it correctly, if you do it at the right amount of time, then yes, it can absolutely be beneficial. Now, let's talk about why it might not be such a great idea. All right. So, when it comes to the idea of, oh, I finally get to eat these foods that I've been avoiding, now we have created this relationship with this food that is not so great because we're stuck in this cycle of I'm either never having it or I'm going to binge my face off because everybody listening right now knows the second that you say, yeah, I'm cutting this out of my diet, the second it comes back in, you're not having it in moderation. You're not having one, you're not having two, you're having the whole sleeve, you're having the whole bag. You're going nuts the entire day because you felt deprived, because you put yourself in that situation mentally where you said, I can't have this. All right. So now, before we get into all of that, let's just agree that there is no such thing as a bad, toxic, or fattening food inherently. All right. That stuff does not exist when we're talking about normal foods that we are eating. All right. The only thing that matters when we are talking about foods, like when it comes to fattening, are they adding too many calories into your diet? If that's the case, then yes. But if you have it in moderation, then no. Okay. Is it toxic? No. If something was toxic in our food supply, we would know about it and people would not be eating it. This is what happened with trans fats. We saw horrible, horrible effects from trans fats being in the food supply, and now they no longer are in the food supply, or if they are, they're at such small amounts. All right. And on top of that, when it comes to foods that you should not have, the only thing that should really dictate that is, one, are you intolerant to it? Are you allergic to it? Do you have medications that you're taking that it will counteract with? Like grapefruit is one, for example. It can counteract with certain medications. So talk to your doctor on that front. And the only food you really should avoid completely, along with all those, is foods that you don't like. But we're talking about foods that you love. So there should be a case for keeping them in the equation, because at the end of the day, the biggest thing that matters is the dose of those foods. How much are we having? You can have those foods that you think are off limits if you learn how to control them, if you learn to work them into an otherwise healthy diet, because a healthy diet is not just what's best for your body, it's also what's good for your mind as well. So if you have cultural or emotional connections to these foods, then that plays a role and it needs to be respected. All right. So your plan should include your favorite foods. Otherwise, when you get into a place where you are no longer eating these foods, it's going to increase your chances of regain, because all you're going to do is think about those foods, because you are now devoting mental energy to saying, no, I can't have that. And just by saying, no, I can't have that, you are labeling that thing, and now that is in your head, and whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it's now in your head more. So why don't we try and factor it in a way that is doable, so that you don't have to feel like, no, I can't have this, and treat yourself like a toddler. All right. Your relationship with food matters a lot on this journey, because those that are able to keep it off long term are, one, eating their favorite foods, and two, they just don't eat foods that they don't enjoy. That's the thing. A lot of these fit, super duper fit people don't actually like these like quote unquote crappy foods or bad foods. They can do without it. It's just not a big deal to them, whether that's because their hunger signals aren't through the roof, whether that's because they just genuinely don't like it, or maybe they have some sort of medical condition where they have a flare up. Okay. This stuff can all influence eating behaviors. And if that is not you, then keep it in your diet, because there are people right now that are eating the food that you fear day after day after day, and they are totally fine. So you just got to learn how to be one of those people. Now, overall, when it comes to my opinion on this thing, it really depends when it comes to cheat days, cheat meals. It really depends on frequency and intention. So if you're giving yourself a cheat meal, how many times are we doing that throughout the week? Are you consuming so many that your calories on the average for the week are now so high that you can't lose weight and you're getting frustrated? If that's the case, then clearly they're not working for you. Or are you having more than one cheat day a month or bi-weekly to the point where now those calories are too high to reach your goals? Like, does it satisfy your goals, and does it satisfy your values? If so, and you're in a good place mentally, and you know, hey, this is part of the deal. Like, a very good case of this is somebody like The Rock. He's figured it out. He knows that, hey, if I have a cheat meal, X amount of times throughout this month or this year, I'll be a-okay because I've done this before. I know the effects on my body. And he's also got nutritionists and things in his back pocket to let him know that, hey, we're going to make room for this in your plan. Just have it on this day. Okay. So for those of you that don't know, he does have I'm pretty sure he's a bodybuilding coach in his corner calculating all of his food for him. So you can do this with a professional if you want to, but it's not necessary. And a lot of times for the reasons I mentioned, it's not ideal. All right. And also just know that if you're a normal person, life is going to give you cheat days and cheat meals because life does not care about giving you the perfect macros or the perfect calories or setting you up for success. Right now, we are in an obesogenic environment. You are set up to consume way too many calories. Now let's add on top of that parties, work events, kids events, things like that. It's going to put you in a position where more times than not, you are going to need a diet break or a cheat meal because that's just the way that the day unraveled, I guess you can say. All right. So this is a big reason why I love the idea of periodization and I love being able to utilize it. But for most people, it doesn't work because life is too unpredictable. So it works better when you have this flexible approach where it's like, okay, let's plan on this happening and let's make a plan around normal life events, normal things that we know are bound to come up. All right. And if you do have that, like, okay, I need to just not give a crap about my diet, about my nutrition, then do it for a meal. Okay. Not an entire day because an entire day can snowball way faster than just one meal. So if you need a little bit of a break, then just say, okay, I'm going to have this one meal. I'm going to eat whatever the hell I want. But the second I'm done with this, that next meal, I'm getting back on the plan. I'm going to get back, getting closer to my goals, respecting my values, and trying to make sure that this goes according to plan and not fall off and I don't fall off the wagon. Okay. And the key thing there is just don't miss twice. All right. If you have an off meal, congrats. You're human. That's normal. You're not a piece of shit because you decided, hey, I want this burger for this meal because I'm really feeling it. Okay. That is totally normal. It's totally valid to have days and meals like that. Okay. But like I said, don't turn it into an entire day. Just make it a meal. Don't miss twice. Get back on the plan. Because in the grand scheme of things, yeah, maybe that'll put you up another 500, 1,000 calories for that day. But if you stretch it out throughout the month, then that's what? Divide 1,000 by 30 days. I don't know. What is I honestly don't even know what that is. It's so small. It is so tiny that it's not going to make a damn bit of difference. It just comes down to that timing and frequency of, hey, how often is this actually happening? All right. And at the end of the day, we want to aim for about 80-20 while hitting our calories. We want 80% of our foods to be high quality, nutrient dense, the stuff that we know we need to eat to live a healthy lifestyle and feel our best, and then leave 20% for snacks, for treats, for indulgences, and you can live an incredibly healthy life from a nutritional perspective. Okay, don't let anybody tell you different, trying to scare you into feeling like a giant piece of crap because you decided, hey, I want to eat something tasty. All right. Let's get rid of that narrative. Let's get rid of those people on our feeds because at the end of the day, you can get the results that you want following an 80-20 lifestyle. You just got to figure out how to do it consistently and not fall off the wagon and not let it turn into 20-80. All right. That is the key. And if you do want to learn how to do that, that's exactly why I do the Fit40 Kickstart. So if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and check it out down in the description, in the show notes, wherever you're watching or listening, and apply. And we can go over that and I can teach you the way to do this stuff. And in the meantime, because it only starts up once at the beginning of each month, okay, in the meantime, get your butt in the Fit40 family. It's a free Facebook group where there are people just like you in that group who are trying to live their best lives, improve their nutrition, improve their fitness. And I'm dropping tips daily in there to keep you on track. So if you like that little bit of accountability, a little bit of motivation day to day, then definitely get your butt inside that group and I'll see you in there. But that's it for this week for the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next time. But until then, go kick some ass. Later.